Been a good year for Amazon so far, James.
Yeah, it has, thankfully. I mean, last year was a roller coaster, but now we're at that turning point. We feel that potentially we could be singing the tune of "This is Jassie's redemption." We're at the point where AWS growth is bottoming. I think that the expectations around online sales growth are quite muted. You probably have about 2 to 3% cyclicality between 2Q to 3Q, and then add on a double-digit growth in via Prime Day. I think you can get to a better than expected number for 3Q. So I think we're if we're not at the turning point, we're incredibly close.
So this also, you think, is a big deal for Jassy. Why is that?
I mean, he inherited a very tough situation. After COVID, the company had a bloated infrastructure. They had overhired, overcorrected for COVID in anticipation of more waves. And they had to right-size the business, right-size the fulfillment network, and get some degree of religion around their cost structure. And as investors increasingly became myopically focused on GAAP earnings, which is something that wasn't talked about in any point of my career until COVID, until after COVID. So it's been a tough situation for him, and the stock has not performed well. I mean, it's well under where it was when he took the helm at Amazon when Bezos left. So I think he needs that redemption in order to say that he's successfully taken Amazon to the next level with Bezos' departure.
What does he need to do? I'm sure Jassy, when he's getting pitched by all these shareholders and different people putting this together, they're not. I doubt they're starting with the retail business, right? They're probably talking cloud. They're probably talking AI. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's cleaning up the retail business. Maybe it's improving the cost structure and all the things we're seeing. What do you think needs to happen with the retail business, and how does Prime Day fit into that?
Ultimately, it's about how do I get products to customers as fast as possible. I mean, that's the whole point of the reorientation around the fulfillment center, where they went from a national network to a regional one. And by going regional, it allows them to get and powered by AI, get the right products to the right distribution centers at the right time to get the products as fast as possible. With CNBC's interview with Jassy last week, one of the greatest tidbits that we got was the fact that it is getting cheaper on a per unit basis to get products to customers. And at the same time, customers are willing to pay more for faster delivery. That's the perfect storm for increasing margins. And the margin expectations are as muted as can be. And, we think that a little bit of levers, you can have a meaningful growth in operating income that could be 10 to 20% higher than what the street currently expects looking into next year.
So when you kind of talked about this major position, this was May of 2022, said the stock could double in 5 years. We're up about 20% since then. Are you adjusting those expectations at all at this point?
Not yet. The only caveat that I would throw out is the recessionary risk, but we don't see that as any risk really for the balance of the 2023. How hard or how soft the landing is when all is said and done, because all the interest rate hikes have a lagging effect, right? So we're not going to quite know what that picture looks like for discretionary spend until next year. So I think our 5-year horizon has stayed the same. What that cadence looks like, I guess I still have uncertainty around that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't score you poorly if it's a recession. That feels like it's not necessarily something you're trying to.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 2x sales. You have AWS at 900, at over 100 billion in revenue for next year. At 10 times sales on the AWS, that's almost $1 trillion in just AWS value. So wow. I think that there's a lot of room here for the multiple expand and the operating income to come up. So I'm not that worried. I mean, recession and all.
Right. Again, I keep thinking about if they ever think to do something more strategic to unlock value. For now, we'll leave it there. James, thanks for your time today.